Welcome to Marvel Champions Podcast, a podcast about Marvel Champions the card game. I'm your host, Scott, and with me, as always, my co-host, Ryan.
Here we go, ready for another one.
All right, another one indeed. There was a live stream today, Ryan, and
I was told about it and didn't
yeah,
watch it.
so I watched it live,
Some
and I was
people have all the
surprised.
luck.
What was that?
Some people have all the luck.
Uh-huh. And I was surprised they revealed some stuff for the game. They started out with like that Marvel Dagger game, and then about halfway through they cut away and then came back, and we're talking about the next Evolution campaign expansion. So
About time. Well, I
let's
mean,
see
they
here.
did release that article, so.
Yeah, I mean it was announced, but I was surprised they shared a little more. I don't know if they're going away from content creator spoilers and moved to this FFG live spoiler. I mean, FFG, if you want to hit us up, we can totally spoil one. Just, let us know. MarvelChampionsPod@gmail.com. Just throwing that out there.
I mean,
But
I'm sure they will still do that community engagement with the podcast or YouTube channels revealing things, but I think now that they're kind of revamping their video live stream presence that we'll probably see a little bit more of this stuff.
I bet you're right. They had that weird downtime. I think they had some people leave the company and they kind of had to get everything reestablished and getting that rolled back out.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, by no means does this one really reveal so much more for this box, but it does reveal a couple of things that we hadn't seen before. So it's nice to look at them and talk about it.
Yeah, it looks like it's about 19, 20 cards, give or take. Um, and a variety of some scenario cards and campaign cards. So, which ones do you want to start with? Start from the
Um,
beginning?
I say start from the beginning, or at least whatever one's on my laptop that I'm skipping to.
All right. Well, I'll set it up. So, they introduced for this box player side scheme cards. It's
Yes,
looking
yes.
like they're really going pretty heavy with the campaign cards with player side schemes. So the first one that they showed was a player side scheme. That's a campaign card. Um, it's called Establish Safe House. And it has a note that it does not count against player side scheme. They did confirm on here too that it's one player side scheme per 1 or 2 player games and 2 for 3 and 4 player games at a time.
Right, right. So that's nice that this doesn't count towards that limit.
Yeah, because that would like completely mess up cable, right? Right.
Yeah, yeah, and in turn it makes, I'm kind of thinking about it. This these player side schemes being campaign side schemes really help Cable in this box, and I'm not he. I mean, of course, I haven't played it yet, but he might be the only hero that really benefits from a certain campaign box.
So
You know what I mean?
technically, you haven't seen the other side of the card yet, so it doesn't really help him specifically. Because are you thinking in your mind this is going to go to the victory display?
Well, that's a good point. I was thinking more of his ability, which was after he completes a player side scheme, doesn't he like ready or
Yes.
any
No,
side
you're right.
scheme?
No, you're right. You're right. I didn't make that connection.
I know I'm right. I mean,
Yeah, whatever. All right.
but
Well, it has.
you are right in that aspect that it does not have the victory keyword
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah. So this one, it's got 4 threat per player, and when defeated, you get to flip it, and it becomes the safe house established into play. And it just says that the ability on Safe House Established gains the player's the Safe House support card. So they did show the environment. So it changes from a player side scheme to an environment on the other side. It says enter play with one safe house counter on it, and you can action remove one safe house counter from here. The first player puts the safe house support into play under their control. And then they showed the safe house. It's a 4 cost support, basic support, um, and it's a campaign card also, and a location, alter ego action. You can choose heal 2 damage from your identity, or you can draw 1 card. And it says that any player may trigger this ability, limit once per round per player. So we were talking
Oh,
about in
it doesn't exhaust.
our
Okay,
part
interesting.
two, yeah, it doesn't exhaust, which is cool. But our part two of our villains, we were talking about how will the campaign be either a little bit easier, whether we're going to go the route of supports and upgrades, or like one-time events. And this kind of shed some light on that.
Yeah, yeah. There's a couple questions I have with this whole thing. Number one is when the safe house established becomes an environment, it comes with a safe house counter. And then I guess at any point you can choose to remove that counter to then put in that safe house. So I find it just different that it doesn't just immediately come into play. You kind of can wait for it, if that makes sense.
So I think the next card we're going to get to plays a little bit into that strategy. The other thing they did say is it sounded like you get to pick whichever player side scheme from the campaign is going to go in.
Ooh, yeah, I could
I
see that.
might be wrong on that, but it sounded like you kind of got to choose. So um, you could game the game that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, Before we move on to that next card to kind of enlighten my thought here, I do think that it's cool that you can heal or draw cards with this. It's an alter ego action, so it's not like super OP. It does force you
hmm
to go down, but I do like that both or any player can take advantage of it, which is nice.
Yeah, I think that's it's a strong card. I mean, it's 4 costs, but you're not paying the cost to get it into your in play at that moment. But I guess if it gets discarded, you could pay it again, assuming there's no rule about if it gets discarded, you have to remove it from the campaign or whatnot.
I assume it goes into whoever's controlling it. It goes into
That
their discard pile.
that'd be my guess. I mean, but it's technically used by both, so it really doesn't matter. Or I say both as in it's you and me that play most of the time, but any
Yeah.
player. So um, it's a pretty nice little bonus to get. But I think you're right. I think you're gonna have like a choice of what like player side scheme or what bonus you want. And I'm wondering if it all the bonuses are gonna be like this where there's a price to pay to get to that point. So in this case, this is a side scheme. You've got to do some thwarting to get to that bonus.
So what they did say is when these cards do come out, there's something in the campaign rules or one of the cards that will tell you to put in a card into the encounter deck, and that one is Vanisher. He is a minion. He's a 1 scheme, 1 attack, 3 health marauder, and he surges when he comes out. But when revealed, return the highest. Return the support you control with the highest cost to your hand. So
Ah,
there, that 4 cost can really hurt you.
I see
Boosted
now.
on it's the same. Return the support you control with the highest cost to your hand. So you got to be able to put it back down if it gets scooped up like that.
I see. So that's where context comes into play to those questions I had.
Yeah, you should watch the video sometime.
Oh,
Well,
well,
that's what they
I'll think
said.
about it.
So a lot of these that we'll get here first is going to have good, and then what happens to kind of balance that game is what they talked about.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
that surge is in there too to help kind of slow you down so you don't get too overpowered really quickly.
So now this Vanisher, he's not his keyword or not keyword, his trait is Marauder, but he's not part of the Marauder villain set, is he? I can't remember who Vanisher is.
No. Well, he's not part of the encounter set, and there you reveal what that encounter set name is. We'll get to it, but he is actually a campaign card.
Yes, yeah. I'm sorry. I mean like the villain set. He's not one of
Oh,
the Marauder villains, right?
I don't think so. I don't think Banisher was one of the seven. I
I
don't
don't
know for
remember
sure,
him.
but I don't remember his name. I mean, he does not have a memorable name like Harpoon, so
Yes,
be
yes.
honest.
I was gonna make the joke that the Vanisher, what's his power? He just vanishes. I mean, maybe he can make things vanish.
Ooh.
So
I don't know. You'll have to do your homework on that one.
I don't know if I have the time to dig.
Mm. Uh, you may not be able to find it.
Oh, bow, 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 bow.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Let's see. Next card. Okay, here we go. It's another player side scheme. Gear up. It's got a fun little art on it with Cable and Domino on there. It says this scheme does not count against the player side scheme limit. Okay, nice, cool. It is 4 threat per person, and when defeated, flip this card and put geared up into play. And it does have a little thing that says the ability on geared up gains each player a pouches resource card.
All right, so the other side, the environment, it says it enters play with one pouch counter on it, and you can action remove one pouch counter from here. That's the cost, and then each player shuffles one copy of the pouches resource card into their deck.
It's
Pouches,
interest
pouches, pouches.
That's interesting that it kind of tells the ability on the front side of the gear up player side scheme, and then on the back it basically just repeats it. So I guess it's just a way to kind of know what's behind it without
I think so.
flipping it.
Just an ease of flow with a campaign. I
Yeah,
mean, that'd be my guess. But they did say that this kind of 90s era X Factor, X Force, everyone had like 100 pouches on their
that is
costumes.
true.
So that's the kind of played into that trope, and it's pouches everywhere on knee pads and shoulder pads and armpits, and just pouches everywhere.
That is very true. It kind of reminds me of the MCU Black Widow movie where she had the jacket, the vest with the cool pockets.
Mm, yeah. They did
Yeah.
also mention Domino has a fun interaction with this one because wilds count as two for her.
Oh, you're
So this would
right.
count as four for certain cards that she plays. So they
That's
mentioned
right.
that interaction.
We'll have to discuss that when we review her hero that we haven't gotten to
Yeah,
yet.
Domino coming shortly. All right,
Coming
let's see.
soon to a pod near you.
So
Um, yeah, the next card is pouches. It's a double wild resource campaign basic card. That's all it does.
yeah, we get
But
shuffled
it
into your deck.
it does show Deadpool. So is this Deadpool confirmed?
I mean,
Moment right
Deadpool was
here.
already revealed for as a basic ally, so Deadpool is technically confirmed.
Oh, well, I'm referring to hero confirmed because that's
I
what
don't
everybody
know.
cares about.
I don't know. We'll have to hear like a Mint Mobile commercial to know for sure.
Oh, good point. Good point. All right, let's see. What is the next one? So I guess this is the balance to that. So this one
Yes.
is a treachery, campaign treachery, overburdened. Surge, when revealed, choose to either discard one resource card from your hand or take 2 damage. And it does focus on the resource card. So it doesn't matter what card you have. If it's not technically a resource card, you're out of luck. You're taking 2 damage.
Yeah, especially with some of those rules corrections, you can't just like ignore the card entirely. You would have
Mm-hmm.
to do as much as you could on the one you can do.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's interesting that the boost and the wind revealed are the exact same thing.
yep, yep.
So
The
it's
boost is in
gonna
reveal.
happen.
Yeah, that kind of. I mean, you honestly want it as a boost because it doesn't have that surge, but
It's
Ugh,
true.
that
Yeah.
card just doesn't sound fun.
Well, you took too much stuff with you. You're
Uh,
overburdened. Too many pouches. It's weighing you down, right?
that's too many pouches. Those dang pouches. All my fruit snacks.
Yes, fruit snacks and chapstick.
Yeah. Wait, my lips get very chapped during our campaign sessions,
Mm,
trying to play nonstop. All right,
just
let's see.
well, maybe Riptide can help soothe your lips here. So they did reveal Riptide because I think he was like a partial card on the release article.
I think so. I think we only saw like his picture and his stats, but not his ability.
Yeah, so he is a one scheme, one attack on his A side. He's 9 hit points.
Hey,
He has his attack interrupt, forced interrupt. When Riptide attacks, you or an ally you control choose to place 2 threat on the main scheme and 1 threat on each side scheme, or Riptide gets +2 attack for this attack. So he's the add scheme guy.
so I'm curious why it says when Riptide attacks you. Oh, sorry, I was
Because
reading that.
he's the Morlock guy. So
I
he will directly
yes.
attack an ally, and they did mention that in the live stream that they had to kind of reinforce and kind of emphasize a couple of these ally attack rules because
Hmm.
the Marauders and Juggernaut can can potentially cause some questions about that.
Yeah, yeah. The way I read it slightly wrong, and the way I read it was you or an ally you control choose, and some reason I
You,
just totally skipped the when Riptide attacks you or an ally. So I was like, why is an ally choosing this? This doesn't make sense.
well, allies
So
are people
context,
too, man.
reading's
Allies
important.
are people too.
Allies are people too. That's right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, allies. Sorry, Morlocks. Nice. It's got nine. He's got 9 hit points. I think that's pretty average for these Marauders. But he's the he's one of the thwart ones because I think that was I was if I remember right, I talked about how there didn't seem a lot of thwart related Marauder interactions, and so he's the thwart one.
Yeah. Do you put the thwart on instead of the attack
Yeah,
choice guy? Yeah. They did
and
reveal
that
his B side, so you can see that he goes up slightly. So his one scheme turns into two, his one attack turns into two. The forced interrupt is the same, except for it goes up to 3 on the main scheme, or 1 on each side scheme, or he keeps the +2 attack, but he gains ranged and piercing, which would not be
ouch.
good. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, the fact that it's placed 3 threat on the main scheme, which isn't great, but also 1 threat on each side scheme, does not sound very fun. I'm starting to think because, as you know, most of the boxes have some type of theme that goes through them, um, of like different player cards or whatnot. Like the theme of Galaxy Most Wanted was Surge. It sounds like this one's gonna have a lot of side schemes based off the campaign we've got, and of course Cable being heavy into side schemes. I'm thinking there's gonna be a decent amount of side schemes throughout most of this.
You're probably right. I think the only other thing to mention is his health goes from 9 to 12 per player. So not a horrible jump, but a little bit beefier.
Yeah. Yep. Not impossible though.
And he's an assassin,
Uh,
marauder.
I wonder. I guess I'm thinking of Rogue gaining the assassin trait.
She can
I
technically play that one thwart card where you have to play if you're an assassin or a spy, an alter ego action. It's just an action.
Is there one that has
Mm.
assassin?
Yeah, because Gambit's an assassin, isn't he? No, it's a thief.
Ooh,
No, I just look like
thief.
an idiot. It's a
Yeah.
thief.
Well, because my comment was going to be, I don't know if we'll ever get a hero with the trait assassin because assassin's generally associated with like bad because you're, you know, killing someone.
I would think Black Widow would have had an assassin. She's like a master assassin,
She is an assassin.
but they made her a spy instead.
That's probably that reason is that she's a hero. She doesn't
Right.
assassinate. She just, doesn't tell people the truth and sneaks around,
Uh,
espionage, whatever. That's okay.
that's all right.
All right, let's see. Next one. It, well, is a side scheme for
Mhm.
the Morlock Siege, which is the first um, scenario in the campaign box. Territorial control side scheme for threat. It, well, I won't say that keyword first. I'll go when revealed, place one additional threat for each player here for each villain under routed. So it
Is it
gets,
routed or rooted? Because I played back our episode and I was like, people are gonna think that we're dumb. I
well, I
think it's
think,
rooted technically, but we're from
isn't
the
it
south.
routed like they got routed? You routed the football team, or the football team routed this team?
I don't
That's the way
know.
I always heard it. This is an awkward moment for everyone.
I know our foreign listeners will be like, man, those Americans, they're whew.
And I know English better than they do. Well, whatever it is, if you've defeated villains and it's under that card, then this gets more threat on it. Um, and then it has um, the hazard, not hazard, yes,
Crisis.
crisis. Thank you, crisis, where you can't thwart the main scheme, but it does have. I think it's a new keyword. I
It
could be crazy.
is.
It is. See, I'm not crazy.
They said
Um,
this was the only new keyword that's introduced into the box.
okay. And that is assault. Basic thwarts against this scheme use attack instead of thwart. Huh. So,
So Tony said that it does not count for events. So if you're using a thwart event, it still does whatever it does. It's only your basic hero or basic ally. You use the attack value instead of your thwart value. And it's like a must. It's like a forced thing. And you take
okay.
for an ally, you take the consequential of whatever your attack is.
Gotcha.
The other thing they said is they did that new keyword to kind of balance aggression players a little bit to help them out.
Mm, yeah.
To
Because
since kind of like the point you made, it sounds like we're going to be a little more thwart heavy in this campaign.
yeah, I mean, there's definitely a theme, not a theme, but just the trend that there's more like attack focused heroes than there is thwart focused heroes. There, I don't even know if there is a thwart focused hero. Um, that you either can thwart good and attack good, or you're just attack good. So I think of like Valkyrie. Valkyrie is very much attack, but not very much thwart. Versus, I mean, Black Widow. She can thwart, but she can also attack. Captain America can thwart and attack. So on and so forth. So it's nice that at least the assault keyword can help balance that a little bit.
Yeah, it does kind of hinder those that do have that bigger thwart and like a one attack. That then you'd have to really use your event cards.
Yeah, yeah. But I feel like there's always ways around for
Sure.
characters like that. But when it comes to characters that don't really do much thwarting, there's not, unless you do justice, there really isn't a way around that.
Yeah,
So
I would agree.
I think this will be at least open up the possibilities of players considering some of those heroes that just don't have that thwart capability.
Yeah, I think it's a good it's something fresh, something different. I'm interested to see how it plays.
Yeah, it'll be helpful. You never know when you're like, man, I could my attack. Oh, so here's a question. So if you are confused, I don't know if they mentioned it on the live stream. Yeah, if you're confused, can you technically thwart this side scheme?
They did not talk about that, and that is a good question.
Because it doesn't say
I would
that you're not
say
thwarting.
so. My interpretation is you would probably try to initiate a thwart, but the assault keyword looks at the value of your attack rather than the value of your thwart in determining how much to take off.
That's what I'm gonna go with. I think if you have confused, you still are getting confused.
Yeah, you would exhaust, remove the confused, and then you would try again.
Yeah, yeah. Even though
Because I
it's
think you're
taking
technically thwarting, you're just using your attack value instead of your thwart value.
yes, yes. That's what I would agree. There's your mini rules corner for the
Rose
moment.
corner.
All
All
right,
right,
let's see. You want to
I'll go
hit
to the
this
next
next
one.
one? Yeah.
So this one was from a set, an encounter set called Military Grade. This is an attachment called Inhibitor Collar. They talked about this one kind of being a throwback to those um, cartoons and comic books where they were using those inhibitor collars to take away your powers.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a -1 attack. It's a tech card that attaches to your identity. Treat your identity's printed text box as if it were blank, and then you can action choose to either exhaust a character you control or take 3 damage, and then you get to discard this card. And it does note that any player can do this for you. And they made the statement that it's kind of like your friends helping you get it off, but they're, might have to exhaust kind of thing,
Gotcha.
kind of
Gotcha.
waste their turn helping you.
Yeah, I would say this is it's not a terrible card and like negative effects wise. And fairly easy to get rid of.
Yeah. Take 3 damage or exhaust. I mean, the exhaust seems like the easier way out.
Yeah, especially if you have an ally, you can just boop, done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
but
I
see,
saw.
when I
Oh,
was looking at
good.
this card today, I thought that same thing. It does not say friendly character, but it does say character you control. So I don't know if that is implying a hero slash alter ego, but then I
Yes,
would have think they would have said identity,
I think it's just an all-encompass character.
character, ally. Yeah, I lean to that too.
Yeah, I think it's just an all-encompass if you control that character, whether hero, alter ego, ally, or if somehow you're controlling a minion, you
True.
can you can exhaust them and remove it.
Somebody just has to be exhausted to help you out.
Yeah. I think I saw on Facebook someone mention that if you got this put onto Hulk, that he would no longer have to discard cards.
I mean, technically it's true. He would be just
So
one less power.
there you go. There's your fix. Give him the inhibitor collar.
There you go. You solved the problem with Hulk. All
Cool.
right,
Yeah, not a
moving
bad one.
on. All right, so this is another side scheme, Mutant Slayers, and this is the Marauder encounter set that gets added. It's called Mutant Slayers. The encounter set is the same as the side scheme name. And it says that each Marauder minion gains Quick Strike,
Oh,
which is kind of rough because they all, I mean, I don't know how the minion versions of them, if they have interrupts, but that could be bad. And then it has a when revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each character in play with 1 or more of the following traits: Mutant, X Factor, X Force, or X Men.
that sounds really bad for the X-Men release. characters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I there's kind of future proofing because you can take this encounter set and throw it into any scenario. They did say if you wanted a very minions heavy, this would be one you could definitely do because it's going to have seven.
So if
And they
there's 7, then that means there's 3 cards that are not.
there's this one is the eighth one, and there's a 9 and 10 that do something else.
Okay. Yep.
Maybe it's harpoons attachment harpoon.
Please be that.
What did we call him in that other episode?
Yeah,
Steve the
probably.
sentient harpoon
Yeah.
gun.
That's how he that's how he wins the big bucks. He gets the ladies with the harpoon, shows it off, maybe accidentally shoots someone. Everyone scatters.
Yeah. And this just has it sets up a three scheme on it, so it's not terrible.
No, I mean, quick strike's not very fun, but 3 threats, not too bad. And if you're not playing one of the Mutant X Factor, X Men, X Force, then it's a piece of cake.
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing a straight campaign, you're looking at, two, three extra if you have an ally or something with the same trait.
Yeah, yeah. So definitely something to watch out for and to get rid of when you can, especially
It
with
has a
7 of them.
it has the potential to be nasty, which leads us straight into our next encounter set, the Nasty Boys.
Oh, look at
You like
that.
you like that? You like that?
Here we go. All right. The first nasty boy is Ruckus. He's a 2 scheme, 1 attack, 3 health minion. He has when revealed, stun each character you control. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. Oh geez. And then boost is you're stunned. But he does, very unfortunately, and this is one keyword I don't like. Not that it's not a good keyword for the game, but terrible when you're playing against it is teamwork. Nasty boy. So if there's another nasty boy out, it activates, right? Isn't that if I remember right?
That's correct. So if Ruckus was already out and another Nasty Boy came out, whether attached or engaged with you or whoever you're playing with, they all activate.
Oh man, that is this right here to me is a game eliminator. As in
Well,
like it's gonna happen, you're just like you want to throw the table because everyone's stunned.
well, the only thing with that though is I think you're thinking whenever he activates, he stuns you. It's only when he's revealed though. So he would
That's a
just
good point. That's a good point.
activate. When he teamworks, he just activates.
That is a good point. Yes, yes. So that is only when revealed. Smart move, designers. But even then, if that card comes out, I want to rage quit.
Yeah, yeah, stun everybody is rough.
That is a nasty one,
And that was
as
the
in
only
nasty boy.
nasty boy, yeah, that they showed off.
There's
Um,
6 of those nasty boys, so
well, there's probably like
cards.
4 or 5, and then probably like a side scheme or something.
Yeah. Ugh. Well, it is what it is. It should be fun. I'm hopefully they're not as terrible to play against as the acolytes because they
They
were
didn't.
rough.
They didn't specifically said it's in the Mister Sinister encounter set. At least not that I recalled or scenario. But I
It
think
could be the
based off the
recommended one.
comics, yeah, they were his little minion guys. So it's likely.
I mean, did did the Nasty Boys go to the same convention as Harpoon when they got their names?
Mm-hmm.
Is it their
They
band
did.
name, Nasty Boys?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And yeah. Yeah. Nasty boy.
All right, let's go to the next one.
So they're getting into some Juggernaut cards. So you get 2 Juggernaut cards. The first one is a treachery called Trample, and it says when revealed alter ego, take 2 indirect damage, and when revealed hero, Juggernaut attacks the ally with the fewest remaining hit points.
Ouch.
And it does have a boost of deal 1 damage to an ally you control. So they did mention this interaction because they said this is the first encounter that Hope is introduced, but I thought she was introduced in the second one. I imagine she keeps coming out and plays with you in this third encounter. Uh,
Yeah, I thought she was at least in the second one, but maybe the
Maybe you're just
ally or
getting her or
something.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what they talked about with those ally attack rules. Because I think me and you had the conversation of how does Hope take damage with no consequential if she's not really getting attacked, and this is how.
Gotcha.
Because if you only have one ally, you have to pick her. Now, they did say with the updated defensive rules, you can jump in front of it, or another ally or another player can jump in front of the attack. And the overkill, if he had overkill too, it wouldn't go onto her. It would still go onto you.
Gotcha. And I haven't brushed up on all the new rules update and everything. So if an ally is the target of attack, you can choose to step in front of it.
Yep. The defensive rules pretty much act the same as if you were the target of the attack.
Okay. So in other words, they made defense where it doesn't matter who the target is, you can have someone jump in front of it.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Unless there's a card that specifically says that you can't.
You can't.
There's a card recently that we looked at that said something to that effect, right?
Uh, Possibly. There are so many cards in this game.
I know.
Okay. Well, cool.
Yeah,
I like the art. Deadpool
yeah.
riding Juggernaut.
Juggernaut, yeah.
But it
Looks
looks
like through a
like,
museum or something.
oh yeah,
Because
is
what
that
is
like a
it's like a
skeleton?
skeleton? It's what it looks like to me. But then there's like a 99-cent sign in the left top corner.
Oh, you're
So,
right.
so maybe it's like a convenience store or something. I don't know.
It's from a comic, so
Yeah, it's straight from a Marvel comic because it's not doesn't have the artist recognition at the bottom.
yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah, I dig it.
All right, now this is the one that's gonna make you rage quit, Ryan.
All right, here we go. Rage quit twine. Um. Oh man, I can't even pronounce
So
this.
he pronounced it Cytorax
Cyt-
exemplar.
Cytrax exemplar.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
I thought it was Cytorak, but he
Cytrac
pronounced it Cytorak. So I don't know. Tomato, potato.
exemplar. All right. So it is a treachery. It's got 3 boost icons. So that's nasty. In expert mode, this card gains insight 1, which is never fun to see, but it's not the worst. When revealed, if Juggernaut exposed is in play, flip it and place 1 momentum counter on Juggernaut. Otherwise, place threat on the main scheme equal to Juggernaut's attack. Ooh.
Yeah, so if he's already have his helmet on and he's got like 3 or 4 momentum counters, maybe
Oh,
the momentum
jeez.
counters make his attack go up. So
Mm-hmm.
he's gonna be placing threat on the main scheme for like 6 or 7 or more, could be less, but for a decent amount, at least 3. Because if he has 1 momentum counter and his base attack on his stage 1, that's at least 3.
Oh,
So that's like
gosh.
a thwart. It's like you got an extra thwart on that.
Jeez. And it's probably, I mean, I can't remember his villain cards, but I'm pretty sure his attack was higher than his thwart. So,
Oh yeah, his Thor's only like a 1. He's like a dummy.
yeah, exactly. So, if he's throwing that much on the main scheme, it's not
Or
a good thing.
his scheme is a 1. Let me correct myself. Villain scheme, hero's thwart. But yeah,
Yeah.
and it has 3 boost icons. So if that comes out as part of his activation, oh, that's rough.
Ugh. That is a nasty one. I could definitely see that, especially for like true solo, one hero solo. getting that out and just scheming out, boom, you're done. That's
Yeah,
that's gonna get you to flip the table.
and that's just another one of those playthings I think you're going to find with Juggernaut is you've got to keep those momentum counters
Yeah.
under check, or they're
You're
going to spiral out of control fast.
yeah, you're probably right. It's gonna be one of those type of villains like a Nebula or Collector One where you
Yeah,
gotta maintain the status quo or it just gets out of hand quickly.
yeah. Oh, those are the two I was thinking of. So
Oh, well,
good
it's
job.
probably because we're the best Marvel Champions player. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. You can say that. We play a lot of standard. Okay.
hey, I just enjoy it. All right,
Yeah.
all right. So let's see here. Next, treachery. This one's yours, right?
Yeah.
Or is it
I'll
mine?
take it. Well, I'll take that. I like that. That was good. So this
Here
is a
we go.
treachery called "I'll Take That," and it's part of the super strength encounter set that we saw with Mister Sinister.
Perfect.
It says, when revealed, discard the upgrade you control with the lowest cost, the highest cost instead if the villain has the psionic trait.
Ooh.
If no upgrade was discarded this way, this card gains Surge. So I do like that it's interacting with the other enhancements, the
Hmm.
other encounter set enhancements.
Yeah.
Because what was the one that gave him the psionic? It wasn't the aerial one. He had the flight one gave him aerial. Super strength gave him like something else, and then the intelligence one or smart
Yeah.
gave
I
him.
don't have them
I
pulled
can't.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
neither do I. But I do like how they are gonna like cross interact with each other. So like they get worse the deeper into the game. You potentially gonna have more than one of these encounter sets in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to find a way to somehow control that, or it just gets stronger and kind of snowballs. Um,
Yeah, because the highest cost you work to get that 3, 4 cost upgrade out, and it's gone. That's rough.
God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
uh, yeah. I think this treachery is pretty solid for that. It makes sense. Is that Shatterstar in the art?
I think it is. It looks familiar with
The
the
double
swords with
swords.
the little knuckles. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I'm guessing Shatterstar. And
yeah, because I
then
think he's part of X Force
Mr.
in some.
Sinister's got like a little bit of Spidey sense tingle. There you go. That's
I
the
think
hard
that's the
word.
psionic trait kind of element to it.
Yes. But it looks like a web, so I'm gonna go Spidey Tingle.
Okay, okay. You and your Peter Tingle.
Peter Tingle. That's right. That's what she called it.
All
Nice.
right. Yeah, I think that's I think it's pretty solid, and it's part of the encounter set. It's not part of his card, so
Yeah,
just
you can
more
throw
to
that on
pull out
other
and
ones.
yeah.
Yep.
All right.
All right, we're almost there. Let's do these last two. So this one is another treachery from Strife's encounter set, Psionic Override. It
It's
says,
psychic override.
oh yeah, it's all the same. The trait is psionic though, so.
Yes.
It is a when revealed. Choose a card type, then discard each card from your hand that is not of that type. Draw up to your hand size. Place one threat on the main scheme for each card of the chosen type in your hand. Interesting. There's a
I don't
lot
know
of
about
text.
you, but I hate those cards that make you discard most, if not all, of your hand and redraw, because it just ruins everything you had hoped
Yeah,
for
I
like
mean,
that next turn.
you got some control over that because you could always like, hey, I'm gonna choose this event. I only have one event in my hand. You're just discarding it and then drawing a new one. And in this card, you're placing one threat.
It's like the opposite of that. So you're so let's say you discarded.
Oh,
So
that
you
is
chose
not that
you
one. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
chose
yeah, yeah.
let's say you chose event or
You're
yeah, an
right.
event. You discard everything but your events, and then you draw back up. And if you get more events, you place more, the total threat for each of the events in your hand.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. So yes, that does stink. But I mean, it does depend. I mean, if you're playing with like a Spectrum who's all events, it might not be as bad.
Yeah. The boost on it's not horrible. Discard one card and then draw one card.
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the boost. It's what it is, and it's not necessarily hurtful.
And
It
it's
can
not
even
random.
be helpful too.
Yeah, it's not random, which is
Yeah,
nice.
I think random would have made that more feel like a boost ability, but hey, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna complain.
I agree. So that's part of his scenario card. So interesting. Still playing on that whole card type quantity
Mm.
of card types.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
interested to see
That
how that is going to play.
yep.
All
All right,
right, one more.
bring us home.
All right, so this one's a minion. It's from the Extreme Measures encounter set, and this is your favorite keyword or trait, Ryan. The Mutant Liberation Front, that group. This,
MLF.
yeah, the MLF. This is a minion called Tempo, and she has a one scheme, one attack. While Tempo is engaged with you, you get +1 hand size.
Hey, so far so good.
Yeah, she has a health of 5, and she has a forced response when a scheming or attacking. After Tempo activates against you, discard cards from the top of your deck equal to twice the number of cards in your hand.
Okay, that's not as great.
Holy cow. So let's go like average hero card
Five
is
hand
5
size.
plus
Yep,
the one hand size she gives you, so you're 6. Double that's 12. 12 discarded off the top of your deck, that's rough.
that is a lot.
Whew.
Man, it's when she schemes and or attacks.
Yeah, and if she's scheming, that means you have a hand size of probably 7
Even more.
in terms of what. Hmm.
That
Yeah.
makes. I'm kind of good. I'm kind of glad in some ways because this could be a card that kind of helps push against the. Is it spiritual meditation? No, sorry, sorcerer supreme that gives um
The
those
Mystic
the
and plus
mystic
one when
that +1
hero.
hand size. Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of pushes against that overpowered upgrade and turns it on its head.
Yeah, you
So
just gotta deal with her fast. You can't let her stay out and play. That's the big thing with her.
yeah, yeah. And what's interesting, um, not I guess not like super interesting, but it is um twice the number of cards in your hand. So if somehow you gain more cards in your hand from, say, like the villain attacks, you block it, you do unflappable and draw a card. Now you just made it worse for you.
But then the inverse of that, if you're playing a protection and you get rid of like 2 or 3 cards, it could
But
go down.
potentially, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So there's pros and cons either way.
yeah. Either way, I think the cons outweigh the pros on this one.
Yes, that is for your average hero. They're gonna.
Yeah, but good. I like the minion. I think I like the interaction. I think it's a
Yeah,
fun interaction that we haven't necessarily seen before. So
and
I think that's good.
I think the one scheme, one attack kind of plays off the ability or the response a little more. She's not big, beefy, swingy. She hurt you in the discard pile.
Yeah, yeah. She's meant to just get you to draw that extra encounter card and
Right.
reshuffle.
Potentially have an extra encounter card for that turn.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
exactly. And just get rid of your good cards that you were hoping for, because that always happens when we get like a what is it Kane's obligation where he does like 8 cards.
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
Kings will do that.
Do you remember that one game we played where I got that one like 4 times? It was terrible.
That was awful.
Ugh,
Let's see. Let me see. They did say they'll have some form of an OP kit for this wave slash box.
nice.
It says with some quote unquote changes, so I don't know what that means. Um, other than that, that's kind of the gist of everything.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to see some additional cards. So I liked what I saw. Some stuff from the different villains in the box, some campaign things. Kind of helps get an idea of what is coming up in this box. And so far, I'm liking it. I'm looking forward to this box. I'm not too scared of anything in particular.
No, it looks good. It looks like it's gonna be a couple of good little battles. You're really gonna, I guess, be challenging. I'm excited for that. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had a new um, villain scenario, so this will be a good way to kind of keep everything fresh and that hype in the game where it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah. So this will be good.
Yeah. All right, Ryan. Well, thanks everybody for listening. If you've got some thoughts on the next evolution FFG live stream, send us your thoughts at marvelchampionspod@gmail.com, and we'll see what we can do about talking about those. We really appreciate everybody listening. And remember, if you want to go from a chump to a champ, listen to the Marvel Champions podcast. See ya.
Yeah.